We're here with Mr. Glenn Chatelier, the Director of International Affairs here at Assumption University. สวัสดีค่ะ
Sawadee krap.
Can you tell us a little bit about the Office of International Affairs at the university?
Sure. Assumption University's Office of International Affairs was set up in the year 1992. In those days, it assisted the president of the university in making policy decisions about the internationalization of Assumption University just after it gained the status of Assumption University in 1990. Prior to that, it was known as ABAC, and today also we are called ABAC. Now, what did the Office of International Affairs do in those days? In those days, the Office of International Affairs dialogued with broadly institutions in the Western Hemisphere. Our advantage being that our entire curriculum was in the English language, that we, by that time, had something like 700 international students. And we also had professors or lecturers, if you will, from about, I would say, 15 countries. The role of the Office of International Affairs continues to exist as such, except that now what is happening is that we have to look at issues not so much in the Western Hemisphere, but within the region.
Yes.
As you know, that ASEAN has emerged strongly over the past few years. The charter was approved in 2009. In 2015, it will move towards an ASEAN economic community. And Assumption University wants to play a very important role. So my office, I imagine, will be even more busy than in the past. Okay.
So how do you think ABAC has differentiated itself from other international universities here in Thailand?
Okay, first off, we are comprehensively international in the sense that, as I pointed out, our curriculum is in the English language. I would say up to about 96%, given that our undergraduate program in the Faculty of Law has to be delivered in a bilingual mode, both Thai and English. Secondly, I would say this, that Assumption University, as of the present determination, has professors from 40 different countries. Okay, and this sets us apart from other institutions where we have a larger number of visiting professors, but these are full-time employed from about 40 countries. And finally, we also have the largest number of international students. I would place the number currently at about 87 different countries.
Oh, wow. So since you've been at this school for well over 20 years, have you seen the change in the enrollment, the makeup of the enrollment at the school?
Yes. In the past, it was broadly a Thai-based clientele. I believe that our first international student enrolled on the 2nd of June in 1969, Mr. Tai Fai Ling from Hong Kong.
Okay.
Our next international enrollments were from Malaysia in the year 1972 and following. Right now, as I have pointed out, from about 15 countries in 1992 to 87 countries in 2011. What can we learn from this? A, that as the Asian economies themselves are dynamitizing, I mean, yesterday a relatively unknown China has become such a powerhouse economically and otherwise. And the number of Chinese students at Assumption University are definitely in a large quantity. But it's not just China. I would say that countries such as Nepal, Bhutan, countries from within the immediate region, Myanmar, Laos, Cambodia, even Brunei and Singapore are represented at the university. So in the past, it may have been a Thai-concentrated clientele, but today that is shifting. It's moving away. And this, if one were to talk about globalization through education, is one indicator that one could look at.
Yes.
You know, when you talk about the globalization of Japanese corporations or the McDonaldization or CNNization, let's talk about educationalization and what's happening to the global influences.
Very true.
Now, what we attempt to do in the distant future is really to look at Assumption University's presences in other parts within the region, the immediate region, and to see how we can add value, particularly in our core strength, which really is business, okay, and technology.
Yes.
So hopefully, in the long run, we might be able to engage with institutions towards capacity building, human resources training, helping in technology programs, and also engaging in dialogues through research, which I would admit at this point of time is a little bit, if you will, deflated. But I think that the scope in the future is going to be quite enormous.
Okay, so ABAC is actually doing things that are heading towards a collaboration with other countries in terms of research and exchange programs as well?
Sure, yes.
Yes. So as the director of the Office of International Affairs, what is your opinion and outlook in the international education industry as we're going towards 2015?
I think that the progress has been quite substantial, given that through the 70s and 80s, ABAC was looked on as really the litmus test of Thai's internationalization. This is not to undermine the qualification and the efforts of institutions such as AIT or even NIDA, the National Institute of Development and Administration. These institutions have been supporting graduate expansions, okay, and dialogues in the area of environmental protection or even national development. Assumption University, I think, has led a totally different group of institutions forward. And that is, how can we use business and the broader cultures encapsulating language, communication, arts, and architecture, if you will, along with engineering and science and technology, how can we lead forward in a new trajectory? I know it from my interactions with the Secretary General of the Office of the Higher Education Commission and other colleagues within that entity that that Thailand aims to be an international hub. Okay. I think that the factors supporting the internationalization of our education are very strong. Number one, by this time, we have had time to emulate, if you will, to look at models of education from different parts of the world, to bring it over here, and then to make it our own, to localize that, and then to spring it up in new ways. So the emulation model, I think, is very strong. Number two, given the growth factors of economics within the region, not all people are going to be flocking to high growth economic areas. They are going to be looking for a mix of the balance of economics, culture, academic progress, what have you. And I think Thailand provides the best in terms of its broader culture of being very favorable.
Friendly, too.
Absolutely. I mean, friendly, hospitable, and very, if I would put it this way, very conducive to academic searches, to academic pilgrimages that people like myself who are not from Thailand have made. And I think it's very fulfilling, because at the end of the day, when you walk out of the classroom having taught your lessons, and to look at the enlightenment that one finds in young students or scholars, if you will, I think that's the greatest reward. So I think that there's also that national spirit of inquisitiveness within the Thai mindset that engages in relentless search. Okay, and I'm very, very happy that the policymakers have chosen to drive this forward. Okay. The word of caution that I have is that we should not become stereotyped, or we should not follow other models that have led into, let's say, unfavorable situations. And here I would say that it's the broader culture, the Thai culture, that should enhance the learning quality, the learning environment. And if you put all these things into place, then why can't the industry work well?
That's all the time for ASEAN Business Report today. Keep us here Monday to Friday from 12 to 1 p.m.
And please like us on Facebook at worldwideweb.facebook.com/ASEAN Business Report and follow us on Twitter at ASEAN Biz Report. That's all for today. This is Natakon Plodi.
And I am Ong Adan Amatayakun. สวัสดีครับ
สวัสดีครับ